Well, Miss Lestrade, it would appear you find yourself in something of a predicament.
Where the blue blazes have you been, eh?
You're the one who shoot him away. Pardon?
When a lady's in trouble, a true gent's supposed to be there to help. Straight away! Not an hour later!
You're literally the one who shoot him away. What? Harsh. Okay, so clearly they are not related because they're not analogizing each other. What? But why are you? I don't know what voice to give him. And he's like, the gloves he's wearing puts me off because he's like, it looks like those like plastic gloves. And who, pray tell, are you? I don't know. Mr. Egbert Benedict, you have, in my eyes, a veritably encyclopedic array of curiosities about your person. Nevertheless, there are two immovable conclusions I have drawn. I beg your pardon. The first is this. The true reason for your visit to this pawnbrokery today is something you have not yet revealed. Okay. And the second is this. A considerable crime is in contemplation. One you will orchestrate with intent to steal a vast sum of money. What? Well, Mr. Benedict, what say you for my deductions? Ow! He's turned as white as a hard-boiled egg.
It would seem that once again, Mr. Sholmes has made a flawless deduction.
Just who do you think you are, sir? Ah, yes, as I hoped. That is precisely the pained expression I was looking for. Why do the two of them like do dance moves? I don't get. So, shall we begin? The time has come for yet another Herlock Sholmes. Logic and reasoning spectacular. Still thinking about the time when he said he was sad that no one was talking to him. Mystery Man's aim. First of all, we must ask ourselves on what business you have ventured to this pawnbrokery today. You claim to have followed this pickpocketeer, having had the redemption ticket stolen from you on the streets. But that is most certainly a lie. The real truth is something quite different. Ooh, what's in your hand? As revealed by that which you hold in your hand. Yes, what brought you to this shop in the first place is the staff recruitment flyer. What? The piece of paper in your hand is a staff wanted advertisement for this very shop. Yet, even the most unobservant would soon realize that a man of your appearance has no need of such employ. In other words, there is some ulterior motive for your actions. AG. His name is something AG, so his name is not Eggs Benedict. The cane, which you unwittingly clutched to your person, exhibit an incontrovertible contradiction. What utter rot! I've had this cane for years. The contradiction of which I speak is, of course, missing for rule. A what? The end of any walking cane would be terminated with a metal ferrule to protect the wooden tip. And yet detailed analysis shows the wooden tip of this stick to be utterly bare. Therefore, there is only one conclusion. The rod that you hold in your hand, which appears to be a walking cane, is in fact no cane at all. What was that sound? You recoil, sir. Is something wrong? And in your recoiling, you inadvertently facilitate the answer of the next conundrum to present itself. Namely, what is the truth behind this rod you bear? It's for playing cricket. Yes, or your reaction betrays the truth. The handle, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle you see. From the moment I saw it, my suspicions were aroused. What walking cane demands such a stout handle? Mused I. What are you talking about? But of course, as I said, this is no walking cane. No, that rod is the broken handle of a shovel. What? Are you insane? And now, having determined this undeniable truth, the conclusion is clear. Your true motive for coming here was to take employment at this establishment in order to excavate the ground beneath the premises. What a calculated crime you have conceived, sir. A wicked, calculated crime. He's saying that he wants to dig up under the shop? What? God damn it. Oh my gosh. Now, Mr. Benedict, let us continue. For what, we must expose the details of this elaborate crime you have in the planning. This is utterly absurd. You suggest that I, a gentleman, intend to excavate the ground beneath this pawnbrokery with a broken shovel. What on earth do you propose I can expect to find there? Why? Why the moving? Some long-forgotten treasure, I suppose? Save for such fanciful theory, what possible reason could I have to do as you say? Are you telling me these two aren't related? Why do they both dance like this? Oh, but there is ample reason. As you are only too well aware, Mr. Benedict. Ah, and your furtive glance is more telling than I could have hoped. What? Let us consider what would motivate a man to infiltrate a shop such as this and covertly dig beneath its floors. Floor digging? Goddamn. The answer is revealed by the council notice on the counter to which your eyes were advertently drawn. There's a cat photo that this letter gives notice of public works to be carried out in the local area. And according to the enclosed plan of the upcoming sewage works, beneath this shop runs a sewer that adjoins another, one that runs under the bank on the opposite side of the road. This madness has entered the sewers now, has it? By excavating the grounds beneath our feet, you would gain access to the waterway that flows in very close proximity to the great vault of the financial institution opposite. What are you? In summary, sir, you devised a master plan to pull off an elaborate bank robbery by dint of the underground tunnels. Master plan? Which brings us alas to the final chapter of this lurid scheme. With what plunder did the thief hope to make off from the underground vault of the bank? Are you quite serious? Having consulted with Scotland Yard some days ago, I happen to know the answer. But naturally, the answer is no secret to you, is it, Mr. Benedict? I have no idea what you're talking about. Allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence. You see, the picture postcard tells us what we need to know. A postcard of the Great Exhibition. I'm afraid you've quite lost me. Currently in the final stages of preparation, the Great Exhibition will soon be underway, and the government has provided extra funds to complete its centerpiece, the Crystal Tower. And funds currently sit in the vault of the bank, on the other side of this road. Pardon? Yes, the considerable crime you have been contemplating is the theft of that which sits in the vault of that bank, the special reserve funds for the Great Exhibition. Of course, that is top secret police information, so keep it under your hat, please. It's bad news, I don't wear a hat. Right? Does Ryunosuke wear a hat? I don't remember. Maybe he does wear a hat. Not always, but... Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction, this pawnbroking puzzle. Well... Okay, sounds like a doozy. Mr. Sholmes. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, an impressively upbeat deduction for a detective racked with loneliness. We do not agree. Was it true what you said about the bank over the road of what it has in its vault? Indeed, though few know of its existence, it is one of the government's most closely guarded secrets. Gregson told me, in the strictest confidence.
But you just announced it to everyone here. Rather loudly, in fact.
Ah. And if it's such a big secret, how would Mr. Benedict have come to find out about it? There can be one explanation for that. Clearly, it is because the man is a criminal.
But what if he didn't know anything about the money in the vault? If he's a criminal, as you said, then buying a brand new shovel is sure to be the first thing he does now that you revealed the secret.
Oh. Or if he doesn't, maybe Mr. Windybank will. He already has plenty of shovels here, after all. All my life, I assure you, I'm not so unscrupulous. Well, hopefully this has taught you a valuable lesson. Sensitive information must be handled with the utmost of care. Why did Grayson even tell you anything? One can never be sure that someone privy to secrets won't disclose them. And once the word is out, it's out. Perhaps I'll think twice before confiding in you next time, Mr. Sholmes. An excellent idea, Mr. Naruhodo. An excellent idea. Oh, fucking hell.
Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, you know what to do, I'm sure.
Yes. Let's listen to that great deduction again. We can massage it into shape. Very well then. Let us start once more from the beginning. God dang. Of Herlock Sholmes, magnificent. Logic and reasoning, spectacular. Why can't I move my chair back? Okay, there you go. So I still don't even have any idea what the hell this man is doing here. First of all, we must ask ourselves on what business adventure this pawnbroker today. You claim to have filed this pickpocket here, having had the redemption ticket stolen from you on the streets. But that is most certainly a lie. The real truth is something quite different. As revealed by that which you hold in your hand. Yes, what brought you to the shop in the first place is the staff recruitment type. Flyer. What? Why did I say type? So, by Mr. Sholmes' reasoning, Mr. Benedict came here in order to apply for a job, so he could dig down through the floor.
Yes, in an attempt to tunnel into the sewers to gain access to the money in the vault of the bank across the road. But he wouldn't get very far with the broken shovel, would he?
No, I think it's fair to say his motives lie elsewhere. The question is, where? What did bring Mr. Benedict here at this particular point of time? Whoa, there's a person under. Is that of the girl? Is that of Gina?
Oh, look at all the scribbled notes on the back of the flyer here.
I don't believe it.
What is it?
Listen to what it says. Name, Gina Lestrade. Height, 5'2". Green cap, scruffy waistcoat. Grubby white shirt, blue satchel. Rag. It's a detailed description of Miss Lestrade.
Goodness.
There's even a sketch of her, hat and all. Although, if you showed it to her, she'd fire that smoke grenade launcher in his face for sure.
And look, the details of the shop have been written down here too. Windy Banks Pawnbrokery, Baker Street. Redemption deadline, 15th of April.
Which is today's date. Why would Mr. Benedict have all that information scrawled on the back of that piece of paper? So he was like looking to find the girl herself. Oh look, it's the camera thing that we didn't see. And then there's another one somewhere else by the counter or something. Wait, can I see? Wait. Oh no, I can't see it right now. Damn, I wanted to see a close-up of the dog. Okay, sorry, what am I doing? Sorry. He's blinking too, this is happening in real time apparently. Great! Yes, what brought you to this shop in the first place is the info about Miss Lestrade. Quite so, my dear fellow. It would appear that the writing and sketch on the reverse of the flyer pertain to the pickpocket, Miss Lestrade, and to Mr. Windenberger's pawnbrokery here. You originally told us that you had merely given chase after Miss Lestrade stole the redemption ticket from you. But that, sir, is a thinly veiled lie. It is the information on the back of the flyer that led you here today, by which I mean here to Windy Bank's Pawnbrokery, and today, the redemption deadline of that overcoat. So you waited outside for the young girl matching the description you have written down to arrive. And you have gone to some lengths to hide the reason for your pursuit of Miss Lestrade. In other words, there is some ulterior motive for your actions. The cane, which you unwittingly clutched to your person, exhibits an incontrovertible contradiction. What utter rot! I've had this cane for years. The contradiction of which I speak is, of course, missing ferrule. What's a ferrule? Ferrule? Whatever.
It's the metal cap commonly found on the end of a cane, Mr. Naruhodo.
Ah, that bit that makes a nice clacking sound on the pavement.
Yes, exactly. And Mr. Sholmes is right. It appears to be missing on this cane.
But it doesn't actually look broken, does it?
No, it doesn't. Though the gentleman certainly did recoil when Mr. Sholmes identified the cane as suspicious.
In other words, there's some secret about the cane that Mr. Benedict would rather we don't know. But it's so glaringly obvious. Is there, like, surely there's something more to it than it's just this, right? The contradiction of which I speak is, of course, the initialing. A most astute observation, wouldn't you say, Mr. Egbert Benedict? We are led to believe, sir, that your initials are EB. Yet, in a most possessive manner, you have in your grasp a cane bearing the initials AG. An incontrovertible contradiction indeed, would you not agree? No, you're wrong. This cane isn't... You said before that you've had that cane for years. So don't try to tell us that you just borrowed it from a friend or found it in the park. In short, though you hold yourself to be a gentleman, you have withheld your true name. Oh, what was that? Did something rip? You recoil, sir. Is something wrong? And in your recoiling, you inadvertently facilitated the answer of the next conundrum to present itself. Namely, what is the truth behind this rod you bear? Yes, your reaction betrays the truth. The handle, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle I see. Let's consider the bare bones of what's happened here. Miss Lestrade redeemed that fine-looking overcoat. And now a mysterious man has appeared, introducing himself with a fake name, and claiming that the overcoat belongs to him. Oh, did the coat rip? Is that what it is?
But we know that he actually identified Miss Lestrade from a written description, which suggests that everything else he's told us is untrue.
So what we need to do here is somehow prove that the overcoat cannot possibly belong to him. It ripped. There it is. Okay, so I thought for a second I saw something black under his hat, but I guess that was just my eyes playing tricks on me. That split seam, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle, you see. Yes, because the overcoat is rather obviously a poor fit. Having forced it over your broad shoulders, the seam is already breaking apart. It's funny, he could have easily just had it over his hand, like over his arm, and just walked off with it. Doesn't have to wear it, that was his fault. My suspicions were aroused from the outset. When you so boldly lied about your name and so boldly waylaid this pickpocket. This catalog of untruths has all been for one very specific purpose. To steal the article that the young girl redeemed from Mr. Winnebank. But what really irks me is this. The considerable crime I initially imagined has been considerably curtailed. At least he admitted to it. That stupid dumb bank robbery shit that I thought of is no longer a possibility. Or curtail? What's curtail? Maybe curtail doesn't mean that. I don't know. Now, Mr. Benedict, let us continue. For we must expose the details of this elaborate crime you have in the planning. This is utterly absurd. You suggest that I, a gentleman, designed the wheeze to filch some tawdry article of pawnage. Have you forgotten that I redeemed the article in the proper name, using the watchword? Had I not been the one that deposited it in the first place? How could I possibly have known the relevant details? Ne sais pas, whatever. Easy French? Oui, oui. Oh, but the watchword can be discovered. As you are only too well aware, Mr. Benedict. Ah, and your furtive glance is more telling than I could have hoped. What? Oui, oui. How do you speak French? Oui, oui. Je m'appelle an egg Benedict. Let us consider how one might come to learn a secret watchword relating to the pawn property of another. By looking at the book? The method is revealed by the council notice on the counter which your eyes were inadvertently drawn.
The direction of the deduction must change rather dramatically now, I think.
Yes, no more talk of tunneling into sewers. Which is a pity, because it all sounded rather exciting. That was stupid. Anyway, you can't deny that this mysterious gentleman did know the watchword.
Yes, Professor. If you didn't know that word, Mr. Windypack would never allow you to redeem the article.
Or, looking at it another way, if you did know the word, Mr. Windypack would allow you to redeem the article whether it was yours or not. So the question is, could this gentleman have found the watchword out somehow? You mean it's not the book? It's not the book? It's not the book? Council notice, notelet. What's this? Look at this, Mrs. Sato.
Ah, it appears to be a memo that Mr. Windybank has scribbled to himself.
Let's see. What does it say? Oh, Professor. Mr. Windybank must make a note of the watchwords that his customers give him, right before their eyes. And in an alarmingly clear script as well.
Oh dear, I don't know where to look. Who knows what other secrets I might see?
Yeah, but how would you have guessed that that was the specific word? He also shouldn't he be writing the words next to the I don't know. The method is revealed by the notelet on the counter to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn. Yes, the broker here follows the same procedure whenever a customer comes to redeem an article. He asks the customer for the watchword and notes down the response uttered on a notelet he has to hand. Then he consults his ledger and confirms whether or not the watchword matches that of an article in question. I would expect nothing less of a diligent pawnbroker, whatever. But his diligence clearly has its disadvantages. What are you talking about? It is increasingly apparent that you were present in this shop before your accusation against Miss Lestrade. In all likelihood, you followed her inside and then observed her talking to Mr. Windybank. When the diligent broker made note of the watchword, as it is his common practice, you observed him writing the word professor on the notelet beside the ledger. And that, sir, was the master plan you devised to steal the pawn article from the young Miss Lestrade. Master plan? Which brings us alas to the final chapter of this lurid scheme, whatever. Why would you go to such lengths to redeem that particular article from this pawnbroker? Are you quite serious? Oh, I was wondering whose voice was that. That was fucking Inspector Hosanaga's from before. But he's not in this game anymore, right? Presumably. So maybe for now I can just use him. For an ill-fitting overcoat hardly seems to justify the effort, much less a worthless music box disc. But naturally, you had very good reasons to make them yours, didn't you, Mr. Benedict? I have no idea what you're talking about. Allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence. You see, this picture postcard tells us what we need to know. The articles we're talking about are the overcoat and the music box disc that was in one of the pockets,
which according to Mr. Windybank isn't even worth a penny.
And yet this man went to such lengths to steal them. Why?
I wonder if perhaps we already have the evidence we need to explain it, Mr. Naruhodo.
Could we? Really? I better have a thorough look through all the evidence we've collected so far. If you say so. Oh, there's writing! McGilded! He better not fucking be alive. Better not fucking be alive. Oops, I should have, whatever.
Oh, there's a little scrap of paper stuck on the reverse side of the disc. Look.
And a scribbled word or two.
It looks like somebody's name. For Mr. McGilded. For McGilded.
McGilded? It couldn't be.
But it is not, Mr. Naruhodo. A name I shall never forget, for as long as I live.
But why? Why is his name on this? Music box disinformation. Is it a note? Is it just like a piece of paper that just has a name on it? So it's not like a note with words more. It's not like a letter or anything, right? Well. You see, this music box just tells us what we need to know. Oh, is AG... No. What? Never mind. What's that? On the back? It reads, for McGilded. Ah, Mr. Magnus McGilded, the unfortunate philanthropist who perished in curious circumstances at the Old Bailey 2 months ago. A prominent man in London, though his lone-mongering demonstrated a distinct lack of scruples. So, you're an associate of his, are you? Or perhaps a subordinate? Mr. McGilded was a man of unusually small stature. In fact, he was precisely the right size for that overcoat that you squeezed yourself into. Is it? That's so... That coat is really long. It would have fucking dragged to the ground, I feel like. Your true identity remains shrouded in mystery, Mr. Eggard Benedict. But the final conclusion here is crystal clear. The reason you came to this pawnbrokery today was to retrieve an article left behind by the late Magnus McGilded. Yeah! So why he dance? I didn't want him to come back. I don't want McGilded to come back. Whew, tired. Well, Mr. Magnus McGilded. Not a name I expected to hear in these circumstances.
Mr. Sholmes, I'm afraid there's something very troubling on my mind.
Pray tell, Mrs. Susato.
Well, according to what Mr. Windenbank told us earlier, today was the final day on which the code could have been redeemed, was it not?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. Today will be precisely 2 months since it's first deposited.
Well, today is 15th April, so 2 months ago today.
Would have been 15th of February, sir. That's right. It's all carefully recorded in my ledger. Deposited at 10:30 p.m., I see. So what day was our trial? Was it before or after this date?
What? But that suggests... Yes, 15th February. It's precisely the day on which the omnibus murder took place. And 10:30 in the evening is precisely the time at which the terrible events were unfolding.
Does that mean he didn't do it? Suggestive is not the word. It would seem the matter is entirely beyond coincidence. You are of course at liberty to make whatever outlandish deductions you choose. However, actually, you know what? When we saw this stuff, I knew it. He took the gun from the tucking table. But I was gonna say, during the case with McGilded, we had seen in our the memories of the witnesses, the scene of the brickmaker, and that there was a person sitting next to him. Right? He looked like someone of a taller stature. Is it fucking him? I don't know, he's pointing a gun at me, so I'm just like, I have a hand up, but like, it's also fictional, so I only have 1 hand up instead of 2 hands. I must insist you hand over the music box sticks now. It would be a terrible shame for you to return to your native land in the box. What do I do? Nah. Am I dead? There are some things a man must protect at all costs. This may well be one of those things. Then again, it may not. Oh no, he has his gun! Never mind, I was wrong. Mr. Windenbank! This is my shop. I can't allow any harm to come to my customers. If that were to happen, I should have to take my own life! That doesn't help me here. Mr. Windenbank, no! Alright, that's enough. Who said that? Oh, it's Ouija! Inspector Gregson! We, Mario. That's right, Sunshine. The alarm was raised on one of our dedicated emergency lines. So we got here as fast as we could. Now, what's all this about, eh? Oh, praise be, you're here at last. I was moments away from forfeiting my own life in my very own establishment. I like that the inspector is like, what's going on here? As he sees a man fucking pointing a gun at somebody. It would seem you have the upper hand. Oh my fucking god, Luigi! Right, you lots have got some explaining to do. I don't appreciate being bothered with some petty argy-bargy.
Petty? Mr. Winterpank was very nearly met with his end.
What? Whatever. Yeah, by his own gun as far as I can tell. That man literally pointed a gun at me. Is that not a cause of concern? Oh dear. And the whole Britain could meet with its end. If I don't get to the bottom of this case I'm supposed to be working on. What? What on earth is the case, Inspector? Spare no details, Gregson. I might have said a little too much. No matter, it's nothing to do with you lot. It will later. Anyway, sir, you're going to have to come with me down to the station. Nom, 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 nom. But of course, Inspector. Bye! Ah! He's getting away! Get after him, lads! Whistle the beat officer too! Sir! Of course you'd let him get away. You had them surrounded and you still let him get away. Maybe you put your fucking fish and chips down. There's been a spate of thefts at pawn shops around here recently. So we fitted emergency buttons underneath the counters for brokers to let us know when there's trouble. Oh, Inspector, I was very worried there for a while. Very worried indeed. Now then, Mr. Permanently in mourning. Oh, yes. Oh, because of our black suit. I'll be taking that whatever it is of McGilden's down to the yard, thank you very much. So hand it over. Yes, of course.
No, don't give it to him. It's mine, that is. It's mine.
I'm sorry, miss. But anything belonging to McGilden has to be taken in as evidence now. As evidence? If the police demand something as evidence, my dear fellow, we have no choice but to capitulate, whatever. It's all yours, Inspector. Who is Gina? What's her deal? And so, we handed Mr. McGilden's disc over to Inspector Gregson. Wait a minute. Didn't she say it belonged to her old man? Is McGilden her old man? Surely not. They don't look anything alike. And we're summarily turfed out of the shop and onto the street. Fuck! I was like, is it the missing ticket? Whatever, I don't know what I just said. This, like, playing for what? Oh, it's only been 2 hours. I thought for some reason I've been here playing it longer. No, I keep going. I thought for some reason I've been here for 3 hours. Wrong. We're playing more. Nothing has been told to us yet of anything. We've been in a pawn shop this entire fucking time. So I want more story. I want to know what's going on here. Oh, she has the code again.
See, that's why I hate grown-ups. All they do is feed you a pack of lies and take stuff away from you.
Oh, really, Miss Lestrade? Tell me, is that overcoat keeping you warm?
What? Oh my! Surely you were given that?
Yeah, the D let me keep it after I looked daggers at him long enough.
He went through the pockets and then said, "Go on then, have it," before telling me to scarper.
Whatever. What the hell is a scarper?
Always pays off, giving people a look that you ate them.
Can't help feeling that it's going to get you into serious trouble one day.
What I really want was that nice shiny disc, mind. The music box disc?
But Mr. Winterback said it was practically worthless.
I think I'm gonna go have another bash. Give him a long and stare.
I think not, Miss Lestrade. We shan't enter Winniebank's again today. Oh, we're done with that shop?
Why not? That's not fair.
Can't be helped, I'm afraid. The police are investigating the scene now and taking a statement from Mr. Winterbank.
But that disc's mine. I had the ticket for this coat and it was in this coat pocket.
Whatever.
And there should be some files in it and all. That's what the Ron Cove said, ain't it?
Yes, he did mention something about another article, didn't he?
Well then, that's mine too, whatever it is.
Now she's really pushing her luck. Mr. Strahd, I think it's time to admit defeat. You've had your haul for the day.
Yeah, it's all your fault, Sholmes.
So what are your plans now? Will you dine with us this evening? You want to eat with us? Yeah, sure, why not? Iris would be delighted to cook, I'm sure. And I might entertain you with a modest violin recital. Aren't we so nice? Or aren't you so nice?
Not.
Oh.
Why would I come around to your place, eh? Have you lost your head or something?
Aww.
Oh dear, she's gone.
Having reviled on me quite unnecessarily, I might add. I can't help wondering if perhaps she might turn up anyway. Interesting. Once she's had a chance to calm down, I think there's a good chance she'll decide to come. And steal your shit, but maybe. Very well then. I'll inform Iris to set up plates for our potential guests at the dinner table this evening. And one more thing. I should be glad of your company later too. Sorry? I believe I will have a rather splendid surprise to show you. A word? I want to see the surprise. Oh.
Oh, how exciting! What is it?
You shall have to wait and see, Mrs. Susato. Until later then. If you say so. Okay, I guess we're going to his suite, right?
What's the surprise? I want the surprise. Ah, Susie and Uno! Come in!
Good afternoon, Iris.
Thank you so much for breakfast this morning. Oh, don't mention it! Goodness, look at the time already.
Busy as always?
I am! I'm preparing everything for dinner this evening.
Already? You're obviously cooking something special, are you?
Oh yes, after all, we have a special guest joining us. Guess who it is? Go on. You'll never guess.
Look at those little eyes of her shining.
Oh dear, it is awkward when you already know the answer, isn't it? It's Ginny! Isn't that exciting? Oh, what a surprise! Yes, that's wonderful news.
Wow, Iris seems overjoyed at the idea.
I can't wait to learn some pickpocketing tips from a real professional.
Oh yes, that does sound like fun.
I'm not sure that's entirely appropriate. Are you, Mr. Naruhodo?
By the way, Iris, what's Mr. Sholmes up to? Sitting there doing nothing.
Really? Oh, he's been like that ever since he got back.
Hello, Mr. Sholmes? I beg that you won't speak to me. Sorry? I don't know who you are, but kindly take your leave. Oh my god. Rude. As you can see, I'm not here. Okay. I don't know how to respond to that. He just doesn't want to be disturbed.
I do apologize. When he gets like this, he's completely oblivious to everything.
Yes, I see.
Really, he behaves just like a child sometimes, Herlie does. Mr. Sholmes and Iris have something of a parent and child relationship, don't they?
Yes, except that Iris is clearly the parent here. Come to think of it, I wonder where her real parents are.
What's the matter, Runo? You have ever such a funny look on your face.
Oh, no, it's nothing.
I know what it is. Why does this girl live here with Mr. Sholmes? You're wondering? Am I right?
How did you?
Oh, Runo, I can read you like a book.
This girl is dangerous.
Don't worry, you can ask me anything. I won't mind.
Girl, let's get some answers then. So, by Guinea, you mean Miss Lestrade, the young woman from the McGilded case 2 months ago, right?
Yes, who also stole my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Oh, no. After that trial, I invited her back here and we had dinner together. And now we're the best of friends.
Aw.
Oh, what a lovely tale. Yes, now if I bump into her on the street, she runs away as fast as she can. Oh. And I chase after her down the back alleys.
Interesting idea of friendship.
And then I let her have the latest color of smoke grenade of the help.
Oh, that's why she still has the gun, because you let her have it.
Oh. There are so many beautiful colors in the world. Ginny wants me to make a whole rainbow.
I suppose this means you've let Miss Lestrade keep the smoke grenade launcher, have you?
Yes, that's right. I got bored of it anyway. Hurley always reacts the same way when I shoot him with it now.
Poor Hurley.
Oh, I can't wait for Ginny to arrive. It's been too long since she last came over. I'm so excited.
I just hope she actually does come. Can't let her best friend down.
I'm sure you've been wondering why it is that I live here with Hurley, haven't you?
Well, it has crossed my mind. That, and where are your real parents?
My mommy and daddy aren't with me anymore. Mommy passed away when I was born. And around the same time, my father... Well, he had to go to a faraway land because of one of the cases he and Hurley were working on.
Oh. Wait a minute. Did you say he and Hurley?
Yes. Daddy and Hurley were always solving mysterious cases together.
She didn't mention that before.
He wrote them all up in his diaries. That's what's in the middle chest over there.
Really? He recorded them all? So, you mean it's true? Mr. Sholmes really did have a partner with whom he tackled some of his most taxing cases?
Oh yes! I mean, it's always nice to have one, isn't it?
So Mr. Sholmes' partner was your father?
Exactly. Hurley told me I wasn't allowed to look in the chest. But that only made me want to look even more. So I opened it up.
And you found your father's memoirs?
Yes. So I asked Hurley, who wrote these? He nearly fell off his chair. But then he told me. That's when I found out that the author of all those accounts was my father.
So Iris's father was Mr. Sholmes' partner. Is that the John Wilson guy?
I've practically lived with Hurley all my life. I was tiny when he took me in. So, it came as quite a shock. When Hurley told me he wasn't really my daddy, I mean...
It must have done. It must have done.
I wonder why Mr. Sholmes chose to tell you, and at such a young age. Hurley said it's because he wouldn't have been able to hide it from me.
Oh.
Well, having lived with Hurley all these years, you might say that his ways have rubbed off on me. There are some things I can just see. Especially lies. I always know when people are lying before they open their mouth sometimes.
Right.
Anyway, I was so fascinated when I read Daddy's diaries. That's what inspired me to write The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, actually. I'd always assumed Mr. Sholmes simply told you all those thrilling stories. Oh no, Hurley's hopeless like that. He forgets everything. As soon as he solves a case, it all but vanishes from his mind. Oh, I see. The other day it was so embarrassing. As usual, he totally forgot about the case he just solved. So the very next day, he gathered together all the people involved and proceeded to solve the case again. It was quite a shock for everyone.
You can say that again.
You share your father's surname, don't you, Iris? That's right, Wilson. Daddy is Dr. John H. Wilson. I learned from his diaries that he's a doctor of medicine, you see. That's what prompted me to study and study so that I could earn a doctorate as well.
Iris's father, who went to some distant land, and is a doctor by the name of John H. Wilson. The guy in the first case. Was that his name? Oh my god, that was so long ago. Wait a minute. Was that his name? Fuck. Was that his name? I can't remember. It is, right? The memory. Oh my god, I didn't realize that until just now. I think I might have known that the two names were the same, but I didn't piece it together. Oops. Oh my god, what were your voices? The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I don't remember your voice. Fuck it. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Oh my god. That's right. Visiting professor of medicine at Imperial Yume University. And the man who, in the most bizarre of circumstances, lost his life just before we left Japan. Now, does she know that he was dead? Or does she just think that he's away? Mr. Sato.
Yes.
Perhaps we shouldn't pursue this conversation any further at this time.
I think that would be for the best.
Aww. But what? I was about to say something. Now what was I about to say? Oh, so the person who fucking killed him, who killed Wilson, is she? Well, she was from England, right? Or Britain, whatever. So, is she gonna appear again? Ah, my dear fellows, how good to see you. I don't think that was his voice, but whatever.
Mr. Sholmes!
Why ever did you not make your presence known to me before? Well, no matter now. So, how the devil are you? Well, we just saw each other like a few minutes ago. We've been with you for most of the day. Oh goodness, really? What was his voice? I already forgot how his voice went.
Do tell me, Mr. Sholmes, is your violin unscathed?
My violin? Whatever are you talking about, dear madame?
Oh,
Never mind that now. I have something far more interesting to show you. Behold, my dear fellows.
Oh, another music box disc.
No, not another disc, Mrs. Sato. This is the one Gregson demanded we hand over as evidence. Mr. McGilden's disc. I knew it, I knew.
Oh my!
Then, what's it doing here? You know, at times, Mr. Naruhodo, I think that though I have an undeniable turn for detection, I may well be even more adept at larceny.
Oh, that would be wonderfully exciting. I'd be your pickpocketing assistant. And Runo could be our go-to lawyer if we ever got caught.
Right.
Plus, Susie has such beautiful handwriting, she could write all of our menacing crime notifications. Yes, I'd be delighted.
I'm just going to pretend this conversation never happened, I think. Okay, so... I don't understand. How did that disc come to be in your possession? I thought Inspector Gregson took it back to Scotland Yard. Quite correct. And that sort of uncompromising attitude is precisely why I always carry some of this.
That's a bar of caramel, Mr. Sholmes.
Your one and only friend in times of loneliness, if I'm not mistaken. If you will humor me, my dear fellows, cast your minds back to when a good detective confiscated the disc. Ouija. I'll be taking that whatever it is of McGilden's down to the yard, thank you very much. So hand it over. Oh, yes, of course. If the police demand something as evidence, my dear fellow, we have no choice but to capitulate, whatever. It's all yours, Inspector. For the briefest of moments, I had the disc in my hand, did I not? Yes, you did. But I still don't understand. It was at precisely that moment that I summoned my one and only friend into action. I pressed the disc into a pair of bars, like this. Oh, I see, did he just recreate it? That's amazing. The disc and all the minuscule protrusions have made an image in the caramel. Indeed, this caramel is quite exceptional. I developed it myself, you know. Suitably soft for making impressions, but resistant to melting, the result of a precisely controlled solution.
extraordinary.
That's pretty dope. Carrying a pair of these on one's person frequently proves very useful indeed. Take a house key, for example. A simple press in its unique form is duplicated. I can enter anyone's property at will, and never without high sucrose nourishment. Yes, it sounds illegal. From the image, I was able to create this. I confess, I was most curious to know what manner of music would issue from the disc when played. Do we have a thing to play it?
Do tell us then, Mr. Sholmes. What music does the disc play?
Well, unfortunately, I have no idea. No idea. None whatsoever. Are you familiar with the workings of a music box, my dear fellows? No, I'm afraid not. You mean the idea that what?
Goodness, you don't know, Lulu?
Oh, sorry.
Inside a music box, there's a special metal piece called a comb. That's what produces the sound. Small protuberances pluck the different teeth of the comb as they rotate past it, making the different notes. The first music box to be invented using a rotating cylinder with protuberances on it.
But over time, a new type of player was produced, which used discs such as these. With that development, the popularity of music boxes spread far and wide, all around the globe.
Why exactly?
Because the discs are easy to produce, and can be interchanged to facilitate the playing of different tunes. There are a great many firms in Europe now manufacturing music boxes as a result.
It is wonderful to be able to enjoy music, even when no performer is present.
But it is the very success of the invention that means we are now presented with an insurmountable problem. What do you mean? As you may imagine, the construction of one firm's music box does not match that of another. And we have no way of knowing in which music box this particular disc was designed to be played. There is no resolution to this problem, I'm afraid. It's quite intractable. I see. So that's why. Naturally, I tested the disc in those few music boxes I have at my disposal. But as you can hear, to no avail. The results were equally unsatisfactory in this one. So, I am presently engaged in acquiring an example of all the music boxes ever made in Europe.
Every single one? That's early for you, always taking things too far.
But my dear girl, an unsolved riddle is quite repugnant to my constitution. But surely all the different types in Europe will amount to a huge volume of music boxes, won't it? Yes, that is certainly true. In the worst case, I shall just have to ask you to vacate the attic room. Ah!
What?
It just ends there. Magnus McGilded. Not a name I expected to hear again so soon. Yes, it's only been 2 months. It's only been 2 months since that grisly case. I hope he actually is dead. Mr. McGilded perished within hours of the trial's conclusions. Oh, we haven't seen him in so long. Was it the curse of the Reaper? No one knows, still now. The omnibus was reduced to a pile of ash. Not a shred of evidence remained. And with the man's death, the truth about the murder, in which he was so intimately involved in, was buried. Even though we successfully established Mr. McGilded's innocence in the trial,
the newspapers are still claiming that it remains an unsolved case.
Sorry, for a split second I thought maybe that the fucking brickmaker was, I thought Lestrade was maybe the brickmaker's, like, daughter or something. Never mind. It's so hard because there's so much blonde characters, so I just assume they're all connected somehow, but obviously that's not the case. There's just a lot of blonde people here in London. The murder of the brickmaker, the Mr. Thrice-fired mason. In the end, the truth of the matter remains a mystery. We still have no idea what really happened that night. Fuck this man. And although Mr. McGildy was found not guilty through my defense, I still don't know if that was the right judgment or not. It would appear the case is not yet closed. Of course not.
Well, it's time I started getting things ready for dinner, I think. Jeannie will be here before long.
Thank you, Iris.
Oh, well, you must let me help you then. Of course, Susie. There's plenty to do.
What's he doing? Without his goggles there, he's just like... I think I shall investigate the condition of my faithful performing partner. Now then, where did I leave it? Let this be a lesson to you, Mrs. Sholmes. Never leave anything too precious with the pawnbroker. Yes, you may be right.
Oh, that reminds me. Or of something Mr. Windebeck said before. He said that he had a manuscript of Iris's in pawn, didn't he?
Did he? Yes, he definitely mentioned it. Mr. Sholmes' latest tale of otherworldly mystery lies dormant in my storeroom. Were his words, I believe.
So you heard about that, did you? I expect you were as incensed as I was. Oh yes, the idea of such a wonderful story languishing in Mr. Windebeck's storeroom, gathering dust?
My dear madame, I'm quite sure I told you already. The pawnbroker's storeroom is the safest place for it, more secure than a bank's vault.
And what about your Stradivarius, Hurley? Was that safe and secure?
Well, there may be the occasional mix-up, caused by a certain impetuous someone not too far from me now.
Do you have any idea how long it took me to write that Baskervilles story, Hurley? Oh, it sounds so exciting! The Hound of the Baskervilles! I should love to read it!
Why does she know that? Yeah, why does she know that? What's going on here? Why does it feel like an icy chill just swept through the room?
Susie! What did you just say? You said the Hound of the Baskervilles. But how could you know the full title?
Did you? Oh shit! Cause her father were close with Wilson, right? Her father was close with Wilson. Did he tell you about it? Ooh, Susie, you fucked up.
Well, that's
because Mrs. Sato is such a great fan of all the stories about Mr. Sholmes, of course.
But Uno, the Hound of the Baskervilles, has never been published.
What?
When I showed Hurley the manuscript, he told me that I wasn't allowed to publish it yet.
I don't understand.
That's why he said he'd kept it safe. Until it was the right time for the story to be made public, you see.
So that's why the manuscript is at Windebeck's?
And yet, how could Susie here know its title? Well, Hurley, what's going on?
Oh no! Ah! What is it, Mr. Sholmes? It would appear our guest has arrived. Dina! Miss Lestrade!
This was a bad idea. I knew I weren't welcome. I'm going.
No, wait! Miss Lestrade! We've all been eagerly waiting your arrival. Haven't we, Iris?
Oh yes, just wait there, Ginny. We'll have everything ready in a jiffy. Come along, Susie. Oh, right, of course. It's a pleasure to see you here, Miss Lestrade. Please, make yourself at home.
Don't stand in the doorway, my dear girl. Come along in. What say you to some Mendelssohn? I won't take no for an answer. I don't know what that is. Meddlesome it is, then.
Kitty!
That evening, Iris prepared us all a meal that was even more delicious than usual. Mr. Sholmes' violin performance was in no way meddlesome, and Gina, as we all came to call her, taught us all how to steal things from one another without being noticed. Everyone thoroughly enjoyed themselves, well into the night,